This is Malcolm Nance, and this is a black man spy flash traffic. In the military, when we have a crisis, the information is sent to the highest levels of command authority, is sent at the flash level of information. And I think the situation as it's occurred in Utah today with the assassination and murder of Charlie Kirk, which is reprehensible, is a situation you all need to know about and that I want to talk about. Number one, I've spent decades in counterterrorism. And if there's any one thing that I know is Charlie Kirk was a political analyst and he was going around to universities and he was talking to people who were opposed to him. He would debate people, and whoever murdered him did it for a reason that was either in their head or was political in nature. And that is the definition of terrorism: act of violence or threat of violence, political in nature, in which the intended audience is beyond the immediate victim, who in this case is Charlie Kirk. Um, I never agreed with anything that man stood for, but I respected the fact that he would go around and he would debate what he believed in as an influencer and a podcaster. But no one has the right to take a life because you have a political disagreement in this country. I swear to God, do you know what we call a terrorist who is an American citizen who carries out an act of terrorism? A terrorist. Sure, we can differentiate that he's an American terrorist versus a Saudi terrorist, but you're still a terrorist. People, I might seem a little excited and a little hot right now because I care about what happens in this country. We had an assassination of politicians in Wisconsin recently. Now we have this one. This is where things need to stop. The rhetoric on some sides is a little higher than the other, but whoever did this is a terrorist. He and or she needs to be hunted down. They need to find out what the purpose of this was. Let's be honest, some people kill people for the notoriety of doing it. Ideology be damned. We saw that in the attempted assassination of President Trump. Some people are just mentally disturbed, but it doesn't matter. It is still an act of terrorism. Now, I'm going to give you my little rant as a son of Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I was steeped in a love for America and the Constitution of the United States. I spent my entire life protecting you, the American public, from mean, evil, nasty people on the other side of the world who really wanted to do harm to Americans. But here's what I don't want to hear from this point out. I don't want to hear anyone say that this is the time for civil war. I don't want to hear anyone say that this is Kristallnacht, that this is the time to use this as a cudgel against your political enemies. An American citizen was murdered today. And yes, American citizens are murdered every day, but this one happened in a dramatic fashion. Someone thought this through, brought in a high-powered rifle, an AR-15 or another weapon which could be broken down, set up deliberately, and shot that man with the intent to kill. And the very fact that the person took one shot, saw success, broke down that weapon, and managed to get away thus far is a sign of deep premeditation. It was an act of terrorism. That being said, it's time to recalibrate the stupid here. No one should use this as an act to incite violence against other Americans. My last book was called They Want to Kill Americans, because all I had was stack after stack after stack of examples of people in this country who call themselves Americans begging each other to want to use their weapons. Insane. If Charlie Kirk's death is going to do anything, it needs to get us all to look back. Now, I am a long distance shooter. I have a load of weapons. I love the sport of shooting. But I don't look at paper targets and think of my fellow citizens. I look at paper targets and I think of how Americans could be defended when I'm overseas. and I keep those skills up. I committed my life to making sure all of you were as safe as humanly possible when you're traveling overseas. I enjoyed meeting Americans when I was in Italy or when I was in Israel and other places. Terrorists need to be neutralized because they don't care about your death. They care about the political impact and the view of that death in the eyes of others. I don't know who carried out this act. No one knows. If it was an American, shame on us. The political rhetoric is insane. And I'm going to tell you, as a person who started out politically as a conservative, I was a Colin Powell Republican most of my life, strong on national security, socially liberal, because we wanted to take care of people. And we in the armed forces understand the meaning of the word empathy. We understand the meaning of the arrows and the olive branch. But I have people in my own country right now who are probably talking shit, talking about using their guns. This needs to stop now. We need to have a discussion about lowering the temperature. I have no idea what the White House is going to do. I have no idea what the left is going to do and what MAGA is going to do. I have no idea. All I want is I want the ass of that terrorist and law enforcement in Utah. I went to school in Utah for several months. Salt Lake City is a very big city. University of Utah, okay, comes in a very conservative area. Law enforcement there is very good at their job. Let's let them do their job. And let's hold off on this, because if it goes tit for tat, somebody comes out and shoots somebody else, then you are on the slippery slope to tearing up everything the fabric of this country stands for. We are already in crisis. And as a Philadelphian who literally walked the streets of where the Declaration of Independence was written, steeped in the values of the founding father, I swore an oath and joined the armed forces, right, in the shadow of George Washington in Washington Square. Whereas I like to say, written over that statue is freedom is a light in which many men have died in darkness. Charlie Kirk is now a victim who has died in darkness for our freedom. I honor anyone who exercises their right to freedom of speech. I protected it with my life for decades. The Nance family has protected it for 152 nonstop years. But when you step off and you decide you're going to use violence, now you are an enemy of America. Whoever did this horrible act, I hope we catch them. And I hope we bring them to justice, full justice, so that the American people can see what a murdering terrorist looks like. I'm going to sign off at this point because I'm upset. I'm upset and I'm angry because I didn't dedicate my life to protecting you so that Americans can start running wild and we can initiate a bad version of the TV show Jericho, where we start killing each other. Let law enforcement do their job. The rest of you shut your mouth until we find out what happened.